When you think of Maryland, what comes to mind? Maybe the Chesapeake Bay, blue crabs, or historic towns? But here's something most people don't know about the Old Line State. It's suddenly become the center of a medical mystery that sounds straight out of a horror movie. Sure, Maryland is famous for its crab cakes and delicious seafood, but right now it's making headlines for something a lot less appetizing. The state has become ground zero for a truly bizarre and terrifying parasite, the flesh-eating screwworm. If you've never heard of it, you're not alone. Most people haven't. And that's exactly why you need to know what's going on. Screwworms might sound like something out of science fiction, but they're very real, and they're as nasty as they come. These parasites have a gruesome reputation for a reason. Their scientific name is Cochleomya hominivirax, which literally translates to man-eater. That's not just a creepy nickname, it's a warning. Here's how it works. The adult screwworm fly seeks out open wounds on warm-blooded animals, including humans, pets, and livestock. The female fly lays her eggs right on the edge of the wound, and within hours, those eggs hatch into tiny, hungry larvae. Once the larvae hatch, they burrow deep into the flesh, feeding on living tissue. Unlike other maggots that eat only dead tissue, screwworms are unique. They prefer their meals fresh and alive. If that fly finds an open wound on you, your pet, or livestock, the larvae burrow in and start feeding on tissue. They're not picky about their hosts, and they can infest anything from a tiny scratch to a large surgical incision. The symptoms of a screwworm infestation can be truly alarming. Victims often develop painful sores, swelling, and intense irritation at the site of the wound. The area may become red, inflamed, and extremely tender to the touch. If left untreated, the damage can spread rapidly. The larvae continue to eat deeper into the tissue, causing severe pain, secondary infections, and even permanent disfigurement. In animals, screwworm infestations can be fatal if not caught in time. So how did this parasite end up in Maryland, and why are experts so concerned? The recent case in Maryland has put health officials and veterinarians on high alert. Screwworms were once a major problem in the United States, but decades of aggressive eradication programs had wiped them out. At least that's what we thought. Now with this new case, there's fear that the parasite could be making a comeback. Most screwworm infections are found in tropical or subtropical regions, like parts of South America and the Caribbean. Sometimes the parasite hitches a ride with travelers or imported animals. All it takes is a single infected fly to start the cycle again. Even a tiny cut or scrape can be a risk if the wrong fly shows up at the wrong time. The good news? If you catch a screwworm infestation early, doctors and veterinarians can surgically remove the larvae and treat the wound with antibiotics. The key is to act fast. Delays can lead to much more serious complications. Prevention is absolutely crucial. Cover any cuts or scrapes with a clean bandage, especially if you're spending time outdoors or around animals. Check your pets regularly for wounds, and keep an eye on livestock if you live in a rural area. If you notice a wound that isn't healing, looks worse over time, or has unusual swelling or discharge, don't wait. See a doctor or veterinarian right away. Early intervention can make all the difference. Here's a wild fact. Before screwworms were eradicated in the US, they cost American ranchers and farmers millions of dollars every year. Entire herds of cattle could be wiped out by infestations, and the economic impact was devastating. The government launched a massive eradication campaign in the 1950s using a clever technique called the sterile insect technique. Millions of sterile male flies were released to break the breeding cycle, and after years of effort, screwworms were declared eliminated from the US by the early 1980s. But nature has a way of surprising us, and this new case in Maryland is a stark reminder that we can never let our guard down. Think about it. A single parasite, smaller than a grain of rice, can cause so much pain, suffering, and economic loss. It's a testament to how interconnected our world is, and how quickly things can change. So, what can you do to protect yourself and your loved ones? Stay informed, practice good wound care, be vigilant with your pets and livestock, and if you travel to areas where screwworms are still present, take extra precautions. If you found this story as shocking as I did, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what's the weirdest or creepiest parasite you've ever heard of? Have you or someone you know ever had a run-in with a strange bug or infection? Stick around for my next deep dive into the world's most bizarre medical mysteries. From parasites that control your mind to viruses that turn animals into zombies, you won't believe what's out there. Stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.